Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? It is, what is it? Tuesday, November 3rd. I can't believe I almost got that wrong. It is election day, Tuesday, November 3rd. And this is hopefully a day where we can start to, put things in perspective and we can start moving forward. Again, like the last 10 days or so, I want you to remember, be calm, don't go don't go crazy. Don't make any decisions that could make drastic impacts on the future. I think the market is very interesting today, but let's get through today. Let's be prepared as a team, as a family, to not know who is elected to the highest office until Friday. I suspect, like many of you, that will be a close election. So let's not be upset if we don't know who the man is in charge by the end of the day. Let's realize it's better to be right, better to know. So let's just be prepared for not knowing until Friday. If it is still contested like the 2000 election with Gore and Bush, and we're doing three recounts, and there's lawsuits all the way up to the Supreme Court, we will talk about that next week. But let's let the process go. Let's get through election, and let's just appreciate that we have the option. Not all countries have the option to elect their leaders. And also, let's not forget, your vote, while important and interesting for the highest office, to have the greatest impact on your community, your state, your city, is all the local elections. So hopefully you're taking this opportunity to learn the power of voting. I know many people don't vote except for the every 4 years. But if you care about your state and your city, there are important elections, important propositions every year. So stay engaged. What I really think is, if you don't vote, you can't complain. But if you vote and you want to complain, that's your right. That's part of the deal, right? But if you don't vote, don't complain. So the first thing I want to do is thank all of you. Yesterday was the first time the daily financial news, which again we've been doing for more than a year, every day at 7:30. Yes, 7 days a week, every day, including Christmas, birthdays, Mother's Days, whatever. Finally had 1,000 views inside a 24-hour window. That has been a long goal of mine, so I want to thank you. This is growing. I think it's growing because we talk about money, we talk about investing, we talk about consumers, cost of capital. I'm not giving you stuff to feed the algorithm. And yes, for some of you who've been following me a while, my puppy is not feeling well. He's on my lap. But I think you hear him grumbling or growling. So yes, he's on my lap. I apologize if you hear him whining. He is on medication. It's rough. 15 years old. It's rough. It's rough. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. 1,000 views, daily financial news. I want to thank you. I appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. If you like to talk about money, like to talk about investing, real estate, that's what we're here for. And I don't create stuff for the algorithm. I create stuff about what is going on. I research stuff for about 90 minutes every morning and bring it to you here. Next up, as you saw, or you may have seen in the thumbnail, I was lucky enough to interview Thomas Stanley, I guess a couple of months ago. I read the book, again, The Millionaire Next Door, and I've created a PowerPoint presentation about Dr. North and Dr. South that I will get recorded this morning. If you don't know, the two doctors in this book both made about 700 grand way back in like 1980. So I don't know what inflation adjusted is, but that's got to be seven figures. The net of it is, one of them's going broke on 700 grand a year, and the other is a multi-millionaire. So we are going to break that down. It's just another example of how much you keep, not how much you make. I did an important video last week about 3 friends and a $6,000 vacation. And again, trying to highlight that it's not what you make, it's what you keep or save. I thought I would give homage to The Millionaire Next Door, so that presentation will be up this morning or this afternoon. I'll record it this morning. It'll be up this afternoon. Back to the news of the day. The big one for me is Ant. We've talked about Ant lending a couple of times. It was going to be the biggest IPO ever. It was going to be listed on Shanghai and Hong Kong. I think it was like $35 billion. But it looks like the Chinese government has stuck their nose in and basically said, we don't like your business model. If you don't know what Ant does, it basically does micro loans, similar to almost credit cards. I've done some research. They're talking about loans as much to go out to dinner and things of that nature. And essentially, what I can tell is the Chinese government wants Ant to increase their reserves per loan, and that would dramatically impact their business. So again, Shanghai and Hong Kong both suspended this large IPO that was supposed to go out on Thursday, November 5th. So it is going to be interesting to watch. Is there any real underlying issues going on, or do they come out later? Is it a lower valuation? What is really going on? But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that they did that. Right? They kind of called the executives on the carpet, including Jack Ma, and said, "Hey, not going to happen. We don't like the way you're running the company." So that was pretty cool. Next up, the 10-year note is up the highest in since 5 months. I mean, it's crazy to call this the highest. It's at 0.88. I just think this is a general feeling that we have a bunch of stimulus coming. Whether it's December or whether it's February or March, I just think there's a general appreciation that we are going to be spending a lot of money here very soon via stimulus, both the stimulus that we've been talking about and all the other channels talk about, but one that's more important to me, infrastructure, which is jobs. So that will be interesting. The stock market's been up the last couple of days after a really atrocious October. I can't explain it. I don't know really what's going on. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's a bunch of short covering and also a rotation. I think there's a rotation out of the high-flying tech stocks into growth. And to call that out, you can look at Wayfair and Etsy. Both of these companies have done extremely well during the lockdown. Both have talked about record numbers. Wayfair essentially is furniture. Etsy is essentially crafts. And there's really a talk about, can they continue this growth once we are out of the lockdown, once we are healing, right? Was all this demand pulled forward or not? So it'll be interesting to see what is going on there. I did see that Ferrari posted earnings today and actually indicated that their 2020 guidance for the year is at the high range. So who knew the wealthy are buying toys? I think you can look at a Ferrari and it's a toy. I mean, it's a pretty car, but it's still a very high luxury. So the rich are still spending. Their private jets. That's another thing we've seen is private jet flights are up. There's a lot of this K-shape economy is real, and Ferrari is an example of somebody on the upper end of the K-shape. And then I don't know if you saw this, but Royal Caribbean's followed Norwegian by canceling all cruises for 2021. No sailings and to the end of, that can't be right. I'm gonna have to go back and research. I just said 2021. It's got to be 2020. I wrote 2021. That's what my notes say. I'm going to keep saying 2021, but that just can't be right. I'm going to have to go back and read that. So don't take my word on that one. I may have written that wrong in my frustration of trying to take care of Jimbo in the notes. And then lastly, a big earnings of the day is PayPal. PayPal came out and, like all tech companies here recently, beat top and bottom, but they did give disappointing guidance for the next quarter, which is probably going to take a haircut on the stock this morning. Again, lots of stuff going on. So at the end of the day, it's election day. Make sure you vote. Where's my sticker? I got my sticker. I voted early. It's important. Again, I think if you don't vote, you can't complain. But if you vote, let's complain. So we'll see what happens. Let's be prepared for it to last until Friday, until we know. Let's make sure it's right. And then we can all start moving forward. So that's what I got for you today. Have a wonderful day. And again, if you haven't read Millionaire Next Door, I highly recommend it. So take care of yourself. Have fun. Bye.